from Raging, Resisting, and Rebelling, the Harper Monologues.
Stephen Harper built a firewall around government that centralizes command and control, increases secrecy and obstruction by muzzling cabinet ministers and members of parliament, failing to produce information
Stephen
about
Harper has
major
built a
spending
firewall around a
programs,
government that
being cited
centralizes
for
command
contempt
and
of
control.
parliament,
He is heavily
putting forward
invested in
omnibus
operating
bills
through
so
secrecy and
mammoth
obstruction.
that they sabotage
His government
democracy by
constantly
denying
failing to produce
opposition
even basic
MPs
information
and the
about
public
major spending
the ability
programs.
to study and debate
Harper
Harper's
puts forward
proposals.
omnibus bills so mammoth,
For example,
such
Bill
as the
C-38,
2012 budget bill,
a budget bill that includes
C-38
revisions
spans
to
revisions
70
to
laws
70
and
laws.
Stephen Harper has built a
He sabotages
firewall around
democracy
our
by denying
government,
system of
opposition members of
command
parliament
and
and the
control.
public the
Coupled
ability
He
to
is
study
heavily
and debate
invested in
proposals.
operating
highly
through secrecy
Harper
and
reigns
obstruction,
based on
with his
an
government
refusal to
constantly
negotiate
failing to
and
produce even
government
basic
proposals,
information
regardless of
about
how wide
major
and
spending
deep for
programs.
criticism.
Cited
As of
for contempt of
2007
parliament,
government
Harper
legislation
puts forward
requires
omnibus
for
bills so
Harper's
mammoth.
really unprecedented
2012
system
budget
of
bill
information
C-38
approval.
spans
He muzzles
revision
every
of 70
cabinet
laws
minister,
that
all
he
his MPs,
sabotages
attempts to
democracy
deny
by
those that he
demanding
appoints
opposition
with
members of
servants.
parliament and the public the
Harper is a
ability to
predatory
study and debate
politician.
proposals.
He is highly
Harper
personal and
reigns
bases
based
his
on an
tactics
out-and-out
on
refusal to negotiate changes to his government proposals, regardless of how wide and deeply informed his
The
criticism.
elimination of the federal gun
Since his first
registry
minority
over the
government
objection of the
election in
RCM
2006, Harper has
as
built an
police
unprecedented
violence
system
against
of
women
information
group, but some
control.
provinces
He
will take
measures
the Quebec
muzzles
government
every
for
cabinet
Quebec
minister,
Quebec
all his
practices
MPs,
that
and
data
attempts to do the same with those he appoints and with public servants. Harper is a predatory politician who uses highly personal and baseless attacks on opponents and critics in some
until the
of
parliamentary
politics of
committee on
hatred
June
and fear.
2012
An Operation Organization's bid for non-member status at the UN, a status that would give the Palestinian people a greater diplomatic footing in world affairs. Harper warned the Palestinian Authority president that Palestine would face consequences if the PLO persisted in its efforts, while the Harper government strongly lobbied other nations to reject the bid. The government was disguised the day after the vote to temporarily recall senior diplomats from Israel, the West Bank, and the UN missions in New York and Geneva, with Baird saying, meanwhile, the Palestinian Authority announced they would launch a diplomatic campaign throughout the Middle East based on their belief that the conservative government's stand on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is too extreme and partisan to allow them to play a useful role, stating that Canada is at risk of harming its interests with Arab states in the Middle East. In February 2012, the Harper government was caught trying to pass off 6 bureaucrats working at the
Kelowna Women's Resource Center
of Immigration as the new Citizens in a Fake Citizenship Story. Immigration Minister Jason Kenney publicly claimed the department officials for misleading the public, with his staff forced to go on Twitter and to various media outlets saying neither Sun News nor the minister's office knew the ceremony was staged, including with an on-air apology to the TV network, as Sun reported that its viewers were deceived by a bureaucrat. The Harper government denied former British MP George Galloway entry to Canada because of alleged financial support for Hamas, with a later federal court decision strongly critical of the government found that Galloway had no intent to support Hamas in its attempt to provide aid to the civilian population of Gaza. Closed the First Nations Statistics Council, a new agency that worked to address the lack of
First Nations Child and Family Caring Society
to identifying needs and supporting social and economic planning for First Nations communities, and ended the Aboriginal Statistics Training Program. Cuts to the Native Women's Association of Canada saw the elimination
Canadian
of
Research Institute for the Advancement of Women
focused on tracking the disappearance of Aboriginal women, and with a further 2012 10% cut, meaning they will lose $67,000 from their core budget. Cuts $4.4 million
Canadian
from
Child
the
Care
National
Federation.
Aboriginal Health Organization, which operated as an Aboriginal health research and program center since 2003.
Under Harper, the rapid escalation of a radical shift in Canada's immigration policy,
134
Older Women's Network
across Canada will no longer be able to provide cultural healing services to Indigenous peoples. The cuts severely compromise First Nations efforts to deal with the legacy of shame in the residential
Center for Women's
Harper's apologies for Canada's lethal residential schools program with the government. In 2012, implements instead a new pathways program administered by Health Canada that will provide a miserly $25 million over 10 years. That is $2.5 million a year to address
documentation sur l'expression des
health-related
conditions
such
féminines
as prenatal nutrition, elder health, chronic disease, HIV, diabetes, suicide amongst children. For Canada's 600,000 First Nations people, 50% of whom live in urban communities,
Child Care Resource and Research Unit,
and
special link.
Métis people across Canada. Plans to enact Bill S8, the Safe Drinking Act, that will shift responsibility for providing water systems on reserves from Aboriginal Affairs directly to First Nations, while providing a two-year, $200 million budget for water infrastructure compared to the $6.5 billion the Assembly of First Nations
Child Care Advocacy
required,
Association of
with many
Canada.
fearing the shift will pave the way for privatization. In October 2012, First Nations leaders rejected the Harper government's plan to introduce legislation on First Nations
Alberta
education.
Network of Immigrant
While
Women.
Aboriginal Affairs Minister John Duncan released figures he said showed Ottawa gave more per student for First Nations education than the provinces. However, Aboriginal Affairs officials can't supply information on the amount of money spent
Action Travail des Femmes.
while the Assembly of First Nations says there's a $3 billion funding gap between on-reserve education and the rest of the country, as a joint Aboriginal Affairs and AFM Blue Ribbon panel
Aboriginal Healing Foundation.
provided an unhealthy learning
allowing
environment
employers to
for
discriminate
students.
against
In
migrant workers by
2011,
paying them up to less
Harper
than
promised
15%.
that
A move bound to
$175
drive down
million
wages
over
for
2
all
years
Native
workers
Women's
to help
Association of
prevent
Canada.
migrant workers amongst low
a
wage
reduction
workers.
from the amount provided in
Who will have to
2009, when the
compensate
government
with an
provided
ever-increasing number of job
$165
categories.
million
In
over
November
2 years.
2012,
All
locals of
this,
two
when it's
Canadian unions,
estimated that
the construction
50%
National Association of Women in the Law.
graduate from high school.
standing in the court
Meanwhile,
challenging
the
against the
federal government program
decisions
is
that allowed
$3.1
Vancouver
million from
HT mining
2007 to
200 Chinese
2012
miners
in
to work
legal
at a mine.
fees.
International Planned Parenthood
The
Federation.
company didn't make any real efforts to hire
File a human
Canadian
rights
miners.
complaint.
Other
Based on
2012
focusing
changes include
forcing the
raising the
federal
original
government to
requirements
fund
for those who
child
must fall to
welfare
their
services at
and
the
binding
same
them to a
level as
lifetime financial
provincial
support of
government.
their elderly family members in Canada.
Identification,
Adopting a
investigation,
balanced
and
family
prosecution of
test,
cases
where parents and
involving
grandparents must have at least half of their children residing permanently in Canada to be eligible
but
for
not limited
sponsorship.
to the
Restricting
sex
sponsorship
The
eligibility to
strategy was
sponsors for
developed
Canadians citizens.
entirely
Where in the
absent
past,
of any
those with permanent resident
consultations with
status were
Aboriginal
eligible
women
as
or
foster
sex
parents
work
to grandparents.
organizations, and with not one of the 52
Rather than lifetime
recommendations
permissions, the policy
related
found
to
strongly
services for
represented the poor
Canada's
veteran
sex
family
workers.
at the government, especially as
Equally
Harper
worse,
developed a
it
country
will
with
prove
tools to
almost
take Canadian
impossible for
resources,
those
industry corporations,
wrongly
and
included
expertise.
to have their names
operated
removed from the
jointly
list.
by the
Ben
Given
Otis'
that
dishonesty about
intelligence
revising
information
staff
was
decisions
kept
and altering
secret
documents
on
on
the basis of
$25
national
million, a
security.
Canadian
over the next
International
5
Development
years.
Agency funded
As
for
Burns
years by the
Attack
federal
on the
government
right
to
to
be
strike,
fired.
forcing workers
But she did
back
have
to
to
work
resign
in
because she was
disputes
caught
with Air
staying in
Canada,
expensive hotels
Canada
and
Coast
ordering
and Canadian
$16
Pacific.
juice as
Approved foreign
expected. Reductions
takeovers
in
of
conservative
less
aid money to
electromotive
developing countries
diesels
had
to
seen that
foreign-owned
CIDA's
Caterpillar
2012
Alongside
budget
executive
cut by
Mexico,
4.2%.
workers in
by
2011, and 6
executive
weeks
chairman of the
later
board.
announced
Cutback
it
was
was
a
is
total of
heavily
9%.
supported by the
A
mining industry,
$319 million
with one major
slice of
donor
Canadian
company
jobs,
operating in Chile
approved
for
a foreign
almost $100
takeover
billion
by
billion,
another
budget, and an amount
notorious
that would turn
union
CIDA's
company,
basic education and
Mine Giant
immunization
Rio
budget.
Tinto,
including
In
which
all
has now
funding
locked
Canada's
bill
goals, the
800
global fight
workers
against
at its
tuberculosis, with the
Quebec
government
plant.
already
In
spending
November
on tuberculosis
2012,
dropped by $10
serious
million
empty
per
breast
year
fever
as of
tabled a private
2013.
members bill
At a
to
time when
compel
TB treatment
unions
and
to
prevention
publicize
investments are
any
huge
union
successes,
expense
the government
over
denies there will be any
$5,000
cuts,
and
but
not
only
to
plans to
as to
improve the
why these
effectiveness
but
of
to all
Canada's aid by
Canadians
strengthening
in a
access to
conservative effort
well,
to
the aid budget had been
track
capped
and
by
those
reveal
working on
how
such
labor
issues over
groups
decades in
use
Canada
funds
have
collected
never
through
succeeded
Tantino's
in
speech where he
making
told
mining
business
companies
leaders
more
the private
with a
sector
responsible
was the
further
driver
intent
of
or
long-term
accountable.
to
economic
undermine
growth globally for us.
unions
noting
in
that
Canada.
conservatives
That
While
use the word
union
investment
leaders say their
18
books are
times.
already open for
Never
members
once
to
using the
review,
term
in
they
its
also
mining
say the
and
when
bill
in the past
represents a
CIDA
major
was
attack
expected to use
on
all its
Canada's
programs
unionized
to promote
workers,
democracy,
noting that
but now that
combined
work
with
is
the
not a
demand
CIDA
would
issue.
increased costs for unions and their
In
members.
September 2011, the
Generic
Harper
drugs.
government
status in a June
Harper
provided
ensures that the
6.7 million
low-cost
CIDA
generic drugs
grants to
still
World
will
University
not be
Services
shipped
of
to the
Canada,
world's
Planned
poorest
Canada,
countries,
and World
as
Vision
he and his
Canada,
MPs
major
voted
international
against
charities,
an
mining
NDP
companies,
private
Rio
members
Tinto,
bill, which was
Alcan,
intended to
Iron
correct
Gold,
many
and
flaws
Barrick
in the access to
hugely
medicines
profitable
regime.
Canadian
A
mining
by the
policy
Sandy
enacted
Pond Alliance for
Rage, Resist and Rebel, Lauren Gill, Esther Shannon, Harry Porth, Mary Sherman.
Thank you.